All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show. Check out Pig and a Pickle. 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, the Niners preseason game number 1 has come and it is gone. And let's talk a little bit about some of the concerns slash issues that I think really this game highlighted. And we'll just go right through the list here. I think the first question is Trey Lance currently an NFL starting quarterback? I think Trey Lance has got a lot of potential. I've always felt he had a lot of potential. I was the guy screaming and yelling they ought to draft him. But here we are in year 3, and he looked really uncomfortable, really fidgety, really nervous, missing layup passes, holding the ball too long. The ball just doesn't come out. The average, I think, was 3.2 or 3.42 seconds is the average amount of time that Trey Lance held the ball and in that first game. And that's long. That's a lot of time to be holding the football. 3.42 seconds. He took 4 sacks. At least 3 of them were his fault, I thought. I mean, Shanahan said that he felt like 2 of them weren't, but I felt like only 1 of them wasn't his fault. The other sacks he took, the ball's got to come out, and it didn't. Now, he was 10 of 15 for 112 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown, though, was on a bad play that should have been an interception. But that 10 of 15 is a good number, a good completion percentage. But ultimately, it just comes right down to, what do you do on the quarterback down? The quarterback down is third down. The Niners under Lance in the Raider game went 1 of 5 on third down conversions. Why are you going with Brock Purdy instead of Trey Lance? That's why you're going with Brock Purdy over Trey Lance. Because the Niners scored 33 points a game under Trey Lance and under Brock Purdy. And Trey Lance has struggled to put points on the board, and it's because he doesn't convert on third downs. It's because he doesn't hit the layups all the time, so he gets into long third downs that aren't manageable, and he goes 1 for 5 on third downs. So, Trey Lance, I think, still has a bright future. I'm not quitting on Trey Lance. I'm not saying the Niners ought to dump Trey Lance. I wouldn't. I'd keep him. But I think the question has to be asked, is he currently an NFL starting quarterback? And I think the answer is no. Sam Darnold in this game clearly was the better player, and it wasn't even close. Darnold got the ball out on time, threw a perfect dime to Ronnie Bell. So, post-game concern, number one concern from the Raider game is Trey Lance currently an NFL starting quarterback? And I would say the answer is no, he's not. He might get there, but he's not there now. And the game against the Steelers is weeks away, and he's not going to get there by then. So, to me, that's the question and the answer. Is Trey Lance currently an NFL starting quarterback? In my opinion, he's not. Not today. He may get there, but he's not there right now. All right, question number 2. Is the 49er depth on the offensive line good enough? Now, you play your starters. Trent Williams is the best left tackle in the game. Banks and Burford are really good, I think. I think they're good guards. And I think they're the next guard tandem for the Niners, probably for the next decade. Brendel's a Pro Bowl alternate. I believe in Colton McKivitz as a pass protector. I like the starting 5. But, man, the O-line depth, Nick Zakelj, rough first start. Matt Pryor looked bad. Feliciano looks old. Joey Fisher I didn't see. To me, the best-looking backup offensive lineman I saw was Ilm Manning. So I think the 49ers' offensive line depth is not ready to play. Let's just say that. They don't have a guy out. Feliciano you could put in at center for Brendel, and you'd be all right. Other than that, you're talking about Ilm Manning, who's an undrafted college free agent out of the University of Hawaii. The 49ers probably need to get rid of a draft pick in 2024 for a veteran offensive lineman, or look for a veteran offensive lineman at the cut down that they like, or trade for one that they feel like Still has something left. I would love to see them replicate the Laken Tomlinson trade where they find a guy who's a high pick who's, washed out somewhere else, and they offer a fifth round pick for a guy who's maybe a first or second round talent who's just kind of available. Cincinnati, I mentioned Dante Smith and Lael Collins. They might be an option. But is the 49er O-line depth okay? I would say no. It's not okay. It's a problem spot. All right, question number 3. Nick Bosa, Drake Jackson, Cleveland Farrell. Those are the top 3 49er defensive ends. They're probably going to keep 5. Who's getting the other 2 spots? The options right now are Taco Charlton, Kerry Hyder, Austin Bryant, Alex Barrett, Robert Beal Jr. Beal's got a ton of speed and talent. Barrett's been on the practice squad 2 years, but let's be honest, he's looked the best of this group. Taco Charlton was just signed. He's been really, really good in a short amount of time, but he's been on 8 teams. Makes you wonder. Kerry Hyder's had a really nice career. The motor is endless, runs endlessly, but he might be just a little too old right now. And then there's Austin Bryant, who's got real skinny legs, long arms. He's a veteran. You catch him on the right play, he looks really good. You catch him on other plays, he looks like he shouldn't be in the league. So that's the question. Who gets the last 2 defensive end spots? I might pick, I might pick one of those guys and then try to look to see at the cut down or at the trade, maybe you can make a trade, maybe you could add something via trade or free agent or cut player from another squad. I'm looking at Dallas. They've got Junior Fehoko and Tyrus Wheat. And I like both those guys. Maybe I go with Taco Charlton and whoever Dallas cuts. Maybe they cut Dante Fowler. Who knows? Dallas got a lot of defensive ends. So that's a big question. Who's going to get those last 2 defensive end spots? I think the rest of the preseason will go a great distance to determining that. All right, so let's see. That was question number 3. Here's question number 4. Is Javon Kinlaw a bust? He needs to play with leverage, but he's not getting a whole lot done. And he needs to stay home and anchor against the run and not worry so much about rushing the passer because he's not going to get to the passer. He's got 2 sacks or 1.5 sacks in like 20 starts in the NFL. He's not a pass rusher. So I know he's lost some weight, but somebody needs to remind him, hey, you know what? You're an interior guy. It's got to stop the run. If you have Kinlaw and Givens on that second team D-line, teams are just going to run right down the gut on those guys until they prove they can stop the run. So, I need Kinlaw to be a run-down defender first and foremost, and what he gives you as a pass rusher is, as they say, gravy. What I saw in this game was a guy who didn't anchor against the run. He's doing spin moves on rundowns, taking himself out of the play. Just can't do that. He's got to be better and more stout against the run in the A-gap. That's what he's on the team for. That's what they need from him. So is he a bust? Well, he's a bust until he ain't. And he hasn't done it yet. All right, let's go to the next question. That was question 4. Here's question 5. Isaiah Oliver looked terrible in this game. He just looked like he was going 3/4 speed. He's their slot corner. Was he a good addition? He had a real good year in Atlanta as the slot corner. He's a veteran player. I'm not going to overreact to one preseason game. But I'll say this. This is a deep roster. And Quantrez Knight can play that spot. And he's physical. And he's aggressive. And he's competitive at the catch point. And Quantrez wants it. So if Oliver doesn't get it going here quickly, I got no problem sitting him down and going with Quantrez or moving on and going with Quantrez. So that's a big one for me. Is Isaiah Oliver going to show that he's a good addition? He's coming off a good year at the slot corner position. Wasn't very good outside. Great player at Colorado. Came into the league. Wasn't very good outside. Moved to the slot last year. Had his best year. Says he, prefers the slot position to, and playing outside. I'm sure he does because he played better there last year. We got to see it, man. He looked like he was going 3/4 speed in that first preseason game. Maybe it's just rust, but man, the touchdown he gave up was in a trail position. To me, he just looked like he was going 3/4 speed. So that ain't good enough. So we'll see. We'll see about Isaiah Oliver. It's a TBD situation. And the other question number 6, if we're going half dozen questions here, Cam Latu and Jake Moody, are these guys third round busts? Latu can't catch the ball, and Moody didn't make a field goal, and he had 2 tries. He's got a huge leg. They were both taken in the third round. They were both reaches in the third round. I thought they should have waited at least a round or 2 on Moody and at least a round or 2 on Latu. But they grabbed him in the third round because they loved him. Latu, you can see the traits are nice, but you got to catch the football. I mean, he had a terrible week of drops and fumbles. And then Jake Moody, bottom line, if he hits these field goals, I'm not asking the question, but he missed both field goals. One was short from 40. Robbie Gould's sitting in Chicago next to his phone. He's a phone call away. He's never missed in the playoffs. It's pretty tempting. Zane Gonzalez, if they don't want to go the Robbie Gould route, is a veteran kicker. All I've seen from him all summer is he's making kicks. I think he's made one from 55 and one from 57 all in the last week or so. So even though Jake Moody was a third-round pick, he doesn't make kicks in the preseason. He's not going to be on the team. So there you go. Those are the 6 questions, I think, coming out of preseason game number 1. Is Trey Lance currently an NFL starting quarterback? He doesn't look like one. Is the Niner O-line depth okay? Right now it doesn't look okay. Bosa, Drake, and Farrell are their top 3 defensive ends. Who's DN 4 and 5? That's still to be determined. Is Javon Kinlaw a bust? He's a bust until he's not. Is Isaiah Oliver a good addition? He hasn't been a good addition based on what I've seen yet. We'll see. And then Cameron Latu and Jake Moody. It's put up or shut up. There's no scholarship. You don't have to be here. The Niners have 4 tight ends. They got 5 tight ends, but I mean they could go with 3. They could easily go with Dwelly. Dwelly had a terrific game. They could go with Warner. They don't need to go with Latu. Nobody's going to die if they say, you know what, we took a tight end in the third round at Alabama and we cut him. And based on the way he's playing right now, even if they cut him, I'm not even 100% sure he'd be claimed off waivers. And as far as Jake Moody goes, it's a cold, cruel world. But in the NFL, you're a place kicker. Guess what? You got to make kicks. You don't make kicks, you don't have a job. So he's got 2 games to make kicks. If he doesn't make kicks, you're going to see Robbie Gould. You're going to see Zane Gonzalez. You're going to see somebody not named Jake Moody at Heinz Field week 1. That's just the reality. So those are the 6 questions coming out of preseason game number 1. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.